warring nations of Earth had forgotten their differences and banded together to save our planet. The United Global Space Force was searching the galaxy for worlds rich with drinkable water and breathable air. The Hypergate was our best hope to colonize space, our best hope for survival. But as we prepared to launch ourselves into the black of space, terrorist forces calling themselves the Global Sedition were preparing to strike.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
This is episode 180. 180. Wow. And tonight we are talking about Lost in Space.
Danger, Sean Allred, danger.
The 1996 version of Lost in Space. 1999. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew CGI Monkey Jimison.
That was the ugliest CGI monkey I've ever seen in my life.
Horrible.
Well, for 1999, it actually wasn't that awful. I don't think. It doesn't hold up, but it wasn't bad. It doesn't hold up, but I don't remember it being as bad as it was. Or, yeah. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Corny, the spiders eat their wounded Logan, will hopefully join us during the duration of the podcast. He is literally driving to his home, so hopefully he'll be able to join us in a little bit. And Sam, fly through the planet's core, Vector.
Righteous. And Sean, just so you know, if there's ever some sort of spinning ring of doom, I definitely will throw you in it.
Okay. I actually figured my death was going to be throw me through an airlock because no one did it, but they threatened it. He's like, "I'll dump you out of an airlock." I think they said that at one point. In the TV show that I've been watching, The Expanse, that's called spacing. You know, if I space you, they're called man, you spaced him. That's cold. Like, well, yeah, like that's the threat always, just to space someone is what they call it. So anyway, The Expanse is great. It's really great. I really actually liking the hell out of it. So
I'll have to check it out now that Game of Thrones is done.
Yeah, it's you got it for like 2 years off now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know. I mentioned that to somebody, I think it was my mother-in-law, and she was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, you got 2 years to go. And she said, oh my gosh, that's awful. So apparently the Game of Thrones weren't very clear that this wasn't the series finale, because a lot of people are like losing their minds thinking that that's how it ended. So
yeah, my sister texted me, I can't believe they ended it that way. I'm like, they ended the season that way.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess it's because the people thought, well, there's only one more book, so there should only be one more season. But they're taking the last book, quote unquote, book, and splitting it into 2 seasons. So, yeah. Anyway, cool. Well, this is 1990. Okay, it says 98 here, so I guess it's 90. I thought it was released in 99, though. I'm confused.
Late 90s.
Yeah, April 3rd, 98. Okay, so yeah, it released in 98. For some reason, I thought, oh yeah, this still works. Yeah, so 98, Lost in Space. Obviously, it's a movie remake of the TV show, the 1965 TV show Lost in Space. They use a lot of the same tropes from that show and a lot of the same kind of silly, antiquated ideas. And I guess we'll discuss whether or not we like them.
The robot head the same way too?
Yeah, it's that big round robot. Yeah, kind of thing with the lights inside. Yeah. Like, how does it see? I don't know, but whatever. But it says danger will.
It just spins.
Yeah, and it was loud. Those noises that it made were loud. It was constantly making noises. But anyway, Andrew, tell us, in case what I just said isn't correct, what is Lost in Space?
Well, in this reboot of the 1960s sci-fi series, the Robinson family is launched into space to colonize the only other habitable planet in the galaxy.
Okay.
And shit goes bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets real fast.
Yep.
So had any of us seen this movie before this viewing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw it when, I think I even saw it in the theater.
I might have to.
I think I may have seen parts of it back in the day.
Right.
Which was a Wednesday. But that was many years ago.
All right, well, that's fair.
It was a long time ago.
Go ahead and get your bingo cards ready. I own this on DVD, but I probably haven't watched it since like 2003. Honestly, it had been a long time since I watched it, and we'll talk about whether or not I think it's a good thing or not. So Andrew, if you will lead us off, kind of what you thought about the movie, your initial thoughts on what we just saw, the 2-hour endeavor that was Lost in Space.
God, it was 2 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it certainly felt like it.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah. So, like I said, I hadn't seen this before all the way through, and I'd only seen parts of it. And I did take notes, but I got about 30 minutes into the movie and had a full sheet, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop because
I had a bunch of Mexican for lunch. I had a full sheet too.
You're so gross.
Sorry. I think all the notes that I really took, I mean, there's some specific things, but I think what it all boils down to is we overplayed our characters so much. I mean, we get it. The bad guy is bad. He doesn't have to keep telling us he's bad. They don't have to keep saying he's bad. We know that Captain,
Matt
whatever
LeBlanc?
he is. Matt LeBlanc, thank you.
Major,
not Captain.
Yeah.
We know that he is a arrogant ladies' man, type. But we don't have to keep playing him off as that. I just feel like every single character in the movie, except for maybe, well, no, I won't even say that. I was going to say maybe Will, but even he is played up as the nerdy kid over and over and over. And I just feel like the director was trying to really dumb it down for the audience to the point that I got really irritated by watching it. I mean, there were some enjoyable parts. I mean, there were some moments that I laughed out loud and some suspenseful moments, but I was taken out of that, though, by the horrible dialogue and cheesy dialogue, which I guess may have been a throwback to the series, but to me, it was just over the top. And I've got plenty more, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm with you there. Sorry, when you mentioned writer, and so I was like, I wonder who was the writer on this thing, and it's some guy named Akiva Goldsman. Yeah, he's directed some stuff too. He actually directed or is directing an episode of the new Star Trek series Discovery. He did a handful of episodes of Fringe. He did the movie called The Winter's Tale. But mostly he's a writer. And he has written such films as something called Titans. He's writing a TV series called Titans. A group of superheroes, sidekicks, form a team to defeat their enemies. I think it actually is Teen Titans, the TV series. Premieres next year. Okay, because the poster makes it look like that was Robin.
Is it CW?
It didn't. Well, it probably will be. It didn't say. But anyway, he has written. He wrote the pilot for Star Trek Discovery. He wrote the screenplay for The Dark Tower. He wrote. This kind of goes against him. The Transformers: The Last Night.
Oh Lord!
Do you really write that though? I mean, it's more like putting some stickers together and maybe some Play-Doh in different shapes
on a spinning board and throwing.
I'm not exactly
Make the
sure
actor do this. Okay, all right, great. And then we're gonna have him do this. We're gonna have inappropriate 17-year-old sex jokes between. Okay, good. All right, and now we're gonna have the robot pee on a guy. Okay, great. He did Insurgent, Fringe, Angels and Demons, which
was decent.
Was not bad. I Am Legend.
The book, I like the book a lot.
Well, the book is great.
Yeah, that one you didn't really have to write that much because the book was already there.
He just wrote the screenplay. He wrote the screenplay for I Am Legend, again, which is based on a book. He wrote the screenplay for The Da Vinci Code, Cinderella Man, I, Robot, A Beautiful Mind. He wrote, obviously, this. He wrote the Batman and Robin movie and the Batman Forever movie. But then he did A Time to Kill. So my point is that almost everything in here he's written the screenplay for are movies that already had source material.
Had books?
Yeah.
And honestly, you have to be a complete moron not to be able to, or to do that and screw it up if you have source material.
Right. So anyway, my point is, I was trying to give him some credit, and yes, Andrew, I agree with you. The writing is really cheesy at times and kind of bad at other times, and that makes me a little nervous for Star Trek Discovery. But maybe he got better about it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I mean,
one of the first things that really bothered me was they're in this, opening scene of Rise of the Sith or Return of the Sith, whatever that third one is.
Uh-huh.
And where they're in this epic space battle with two planes and two other, or not planes, spaceships and two other ships. And the enemy ships are blowing stuff up, and the guy on the dispatch says, "Our base is under attack." Like, okay, you're way too calm. You know, any dispatch would be, at least in North Carolina, blowing bells and whistles. Somebody get the National Guard.
Well, he's doing an untitled I Am Legend reboot. What? How many times do we need to do this movie?
They need to do it to the source material. That's all I gotta say.
Well, the very first one, like the 1950s version, is the closest to the source material that they've ever had because they were like legit vampires.
Yeah.
And then the Omega Man one with Charlton Heston was more zombies, but like they could still talk, kind of zombies. And then I Am Legend went full zombie, which I liked. I Am Legend. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
I enjoyed the first part of the movie.
Yeah, I liked it just fine.
Last bit didn't.
Did you ever see the alternate ending to it?
Yeah, I liked it.
I didn't really care either one. I mean, I liked both endings personally. I don't. It doesn't bother me that he dies. Spoiler, but that movie's 10 years old. So, anyway, I just found that strange. Untitled I Am Legend reboot. Storyline: a look at the plague that decimated New York City and gave birth to creatures known as the Infected. It has nothing else, so I don't even know if there's...
That's what I call my students.
The Infected?
Yeah. I spray them with Lysol as they leave my class.
Don't you mean it?
You know what this... the movie did teach me one really important thing.
Oh, what's that?
And that is that every futuristic movie has two things in common. Number one, in the future, leather is very important, and we have to wear it so tight around our necks and so high up above our collars.
Yeah.
Or we won't be fashionable. And also, we will have flying cars. Apparently, this is extremely important to Hollywood that we have flying cars at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And we can't get away from that. I know this is set in, 2058?
2058, yeah.
Yep.
That's not that far away.
No.
And we are nowhere closer to flying cars than we were in 1985 when Back to the Future tried to do it.
Well, here's the funny thing, and I've kind of said this for years. And I was saying, we'll get to your intro in a minute, and I haven't done mine yet. But,
no worries.
Is that whenever you do futuristic movies like this, if you're going to give us this technology that's so out there, you need to make the date out there. Star Trek works because it's 300 years into the future. So it can be whatever the hell you want it to be. But like, but even Star Trek kind of got it wrong a little bit, because in the history of Star Trek, and there's a third World War that happened in the mid-90s, which was the eugenics wars, where Khan comes from. But for the most part, Trek lives in the 23rd century, and it's so far away it doesn't matter. Whereas this, I mean, we're talking we're 41 years from now, we're doing space battles? No. In 41 years, I think we may have landed a human on Mars.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then we would leave somebody there.
And then we have to go rescue
back
them.
To get them.
I think that in the 90s, or even in the 80s and late 1900s, the year 2000 seemed, just to say it, seemed so far away.
Yeah.
And it seemed like so far in the future. And now that it's 2017, people are like, oh, God, 2058, that's not that far away.
Right. I mean, we'll all be alive. Well, we should be. I mean, we'll be you'll have been dead for 20 years.
Have a beer on podcast night for toast one to me by that point.
But like we'll be in our 70s.
Yep.
Right? I'll be 76 at that point.
Welcome to Cheapseat.
I hope I don't sound like that at 76. Crap.
By that point, it'll be like hemorrhoid seat reviews.
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to know how many episodes that would be at that point. I guess we could do the math, but I'm not going to. But anyway, Sam, do your intro.
Oh, my intro. Okay. This was a favorite movie of mine back in the 90s. I remember watching it many times. It's one of the few DVDs that I actually own.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I enjoyed, at the time, I really enjoyed kind of the sci-fi action adventure of it all. I enjoyed the robots and aliens and things, but coming back to it, first of all, it doesn't hold up in my mind. The graphics are really bad. Even the space battle that we talk about at the beginning, they use little models for some of it, but you could see the blue haze around the ships as it's going across the black background. I thought they fixed that by then. Didn't Lucas go back to Star Wars and fix that by that point?
I mean, some of it, but I mean, I don't know. We're still a year away from the first Star Wars, from Star Wars Phantom Menace, but
there are two things that ruin this movie for me now. The first thing is the middle school girl. I just want to reach in and throw her through a space hat.
Her voice.
Oh my god!
The most annoying thing I've ever heard in my life.
So her real name is Lacey Chabert, and since we're here, I have to admit it. I had a huge crush on her when this movie came out.
What?
We're the same age. She and I are the same age, so it's not creepy.
She's very hot now, but
she's very attractive now. And even then, in '98, because she was doing Party of Five at the same time. Now, this movie makes her out to be younger than she is. When she's making this movie, she's 17. But they make her out.
She's 12.
Yeah, they make her look like she's 12, 13, but she's 17. But now, I mean, she's a beautiful woman now, and the voice doesn't really change. It changes a little bit as she's gotten older, but she was really hot in Mean Girls.
She wasn't Mean. That's okay. That's where I've seen her again.
Yeah. So the voice got a little bit better. It wasn't as bad as it was in this movie, and I couldn't tell if they did something to her voice in this movie to make it sound worse. I don't know, but because there are times when she's talking, I can't tell if it's like real or not. But
I did not like her character or anything about that one. So I don't know. Without her in the movie, it would have been better.
Oh well, she is probably the least important character of all of them. I mean, what is she? She's whiny.
What
girl.
does she do?
Yeah,
she's whiny teenage girl, and we're reminded of that several times.
Yeah. And then I'm also reminded that Matt LeBlanc, God rest his soul.
You mean his career?
The best actor in the world.
He's what? I missed it. I'm sorry. What?
Isn't the best actor in the world?
Oh no, yeah. No, you're right.
And if he was messing around with my daughter, like he was trying to do with what's his name's daughter?
Yeah, with Heather Graham. Yeah,
I probably would have thrown him out the hatch as well.
Yeah, it spaced him. Well, the only thing I could think of is like, because she's obviously old enough she can take care of herself, so she figured that Dad would probably figure like, if I interfere, she'll get mad at me. So I need to have at least one kid that doesn't hate me. So I'll leave her alone, let her deal with it herself. But
he's a bad dad.
Yeah, he's a bad father. Yeah, that's a trope.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that happened.
You didn't get that theme up until the last 8 minutes of the movie.
They only shouted it at us the whole time we watched it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
But I will say that I've always had a crush on Heather Graham, so it was nice revisiting that.
Yeah, she's pretty hot
part of this. So, yeah, I liked the look of everything. There was some stuff that was clashing with the looks, like the seats didn't really kind of match the spaceships and things like
Carpet
that.
Didn't match the drapes.
Yeah, but I just. This time, I agree with Andrew. It was like literally having a baseball bat upside your head, trying to remind you everything they're trying to remind you.
Yeah, being beaten with a dead space horse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and the most interesting character was the villain in my mind.
Well, yeah, and Gary Oldman's great.
I wanted more Smith. So.
Oh. Your internet crapped out. What'd you say?
So what do you think, John?
Oh, my turn. Again, I own this on the DVD. I probably saw it in the theater. I don't remember. 98, maybe not. I don't know. But I used to really have a thing for this movie. I liked it a lot. Yeah. I always had like fond memory of the escape through the planet scene. And then I realized watching it this time that Aladdin did it better. For some reason it seemed longer in my mind than what it was. It wasn't that long of a scene. I mean, most of it is just reaction shots of them. Like I actually kind of I could have used way more of the ship actually flying.
I did like the shot though of LeBlanc behind the controls, kind of out of it, the way they kind of had that shot set up.
Yeah.
I always think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some moments in the movie that are really well. I think the movie's well, like the videography. I think is well done. I mean, for the most part, nothing ever bothered me that way. Some of the stuff that really annoyed me, and again, I know it's 1998 when they made this movie, and we've had a lot of movies and a lot of TV or whatever of spaceships and things, but. That was the most roomy spaceship I have ever been seen. Like,
oh yeah,
like, oh, I need to go in my elevator seat chair thing and go to 13 feet above the floor to flip a switch. Like, what if your elevator chair breaks? Then are you not allowed to use the hyperdrive or whatever? Like, that just seems like such a waste of efficiency. When spaceships need to be efficient.
Just turn off your artificial gravity that you turned on before you left Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's a lot that this movie just I think fails on. And here's something I was really excited to talk about, and hopefully Corny will join us soon and we can revisit it if we need to. But back in 98 when they cast LeBlanc, they're like, we want to try something different. We want to get a guy who's typically a comedian to do this kind of action-y role, right? And they had high hopes for this franchise. This was supposed to be a franchise. They had
started
they had planned a trilogy for this movie. And they get it. They bring LeBlanc. He wasn't the first choice. He was actually like the third choice. But anyway, so they bring him in. And I'm looking at this movie thinking, I know what they tried to do. They tried to do what we have figured out in the last 5 years how to do well. And that's take comedians and then make them serious, right? How to take Steve Carell and turn him into an Oscar-worthy actor. How to take
Chris Pratt,
who's this tub of goo, goofy dude in Parks and Rec, and turn him into a very hot, let's be honest, he's a hot dude, and make him into Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's basically one of the hottest actors, and being like, as in billing, and try to get him hot.
Yeah.
In Hollywood. And then you do think, Paul Rudd, all he's done are these kind of weird, silly comedies, and then you put him in Ant-Man, and it's great. And what I think this movie failed at is that they didn't let Matt LeBlanc be Matt LeBlanc. They said, be serious,
Army
guy.
Captain or what, chief or whatever he was.
He was a major. So you're going to be a major, and you're going to be, this kind of ladies' man thing. And we're not going to let you do Matt LeBlanc stuff. Don't be the funny Joey guy. We want you to be something completely different. And it's like, wait a minute.
I want to see the funny Joey.
Funny Joey is what made him. I'm not saying do the dumb things that he did as Joey, but let Matt LeBlanc ad lib. Let him have some fun moments in the movie. Really, the only time he was fun, in my opinion, was either A, when he was trying to be actually sweet and he does the whole constellation bit on the window, which was cheesy as hell, but it was fine. But the other part was when he was threatening Smith. Those are the only times I enjoyed him, honestly. He pulls the gun on him. He says, give me a reason, please. That was kind of funny. But he was wasted in this movie, I thought. And I mean, Matt LeBlanc is not exactly an A-lister, but I still think he wasted an opportunity to have.
And there was a few hero moments that could have made him that in this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I forgot this was a time travel movie.
All right, so here we go. The time travel.
Yeah.
So
does this break your rule of time travel can't happen without the first time travel happening?
No, because I don't know. So here's the weird part about the time travel in this movie, and they don't address it, but it's addressed in the trivia. But I didn't know that when I was writing my notes, as per usual. They emerge from hyperspace, whatever. They fix the ship, and all of a sudden they're hanging out, and then this time portal opens up, and they fly through it to see not the Prometheus, but the Proteus, and then they find the spiders, whatever. So they've gone 30 years into the future at this point.
Yep.
Right? But they are the same, right? So they're unaffected, and then they crash land on the planet, and then there's another time sphere bubble, whatever. Which I don't think I think that's probably the least likelihood of actually how time works, but whatever. And they go through that, and then they go another 30 years into the future. But when that one collapses and then they warp out, are they still in the 30 years in the future?
That's a good point. No, I guess they would go back 30 years, right? Because they'd be out of the bubble.
According to the trivia, they actually stay in that. So when they get to Alpha Prime, they're basically 30 years later than what they were supposed to be, and Alpha Prime has already been started to be populated, but by the sedition people. And so the second film was going to be the trials dealing with that, and then the third movie was going to be something else. I think I have it in the trivia, but supposedly that was what's supposed to happen, that they don't leave that new timeline.
Huh.
So I guess, Andrew, to answer your question, does it bother me? Actually, kind of does, because who created the new time hole, the first one? Mm-hmm. Did the kid create that by his machine on the ground that he would create 30 years later? Or was it a natural phenomenon thing that William Hurt thinks it is?
I take it as because he opened that portal to go 30 years to stop them from coming in the first place. Mm-hmm. That's why that popped up.
It was like a byproduct of what it was going to happen.
Yeah, so it's one of those weird closed loops things where he had to go through all of this anyway.
Yeah.
To make it work anyway. You know, he had to crash land, create the time machine, create the bubble, to create the original bubble to bring him to that spot.
Yeah. I don't know. My head's starting to hurt a little bit thinking about it, which is sad because this movie, I think, isn't deserving of such brain power.
No, yeah. But, well, the time travel in this movie was strange, and it was used as, I don't know, it just seemed like a weird dramatic move.
No.
You know, they're trying to leave the planet. I guess they needed to figure out how to get the engine parts for it, which means there had to be a second ship.
No, it was the original.
Well, it's the original, but there's two on the planet because there's one outside the bubble and one inside.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. My head's hurting.
Right? It's kind of funny to think about. It's like in Back to the Future, there was at one point in 1955, there's like 4 different DeLoreans there at the same time. It's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's right. It's like 4 or 5. It's kind of funny. But like it's also strange that why would the core in the past not be good, but the core in the future is good? It's like, was he able to like charge the battery over the next 30 years? Like, I mean, I guess I don't know what the core is. It's just 8 red lights.
Yeah.
So we don't know what it is. We just know it's nuclear. So it's analog. But
here's the real head scratcher.
Yeah.
The old William sees the young William.
Yeah.
They talk, which means that in some weird alternate timeline, the young William knows exactly what he has to do anyway to get to that point as the old William.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, we're getting into like Looper, where literally Bruce Willis looks at the camera and says, "Don't try to think about it. It's just going to mess up your head."
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the 2 most atrocious CGI effects in this film.
Okay, so the monkey was one.
The monkey
and the spiders.
Spider
Smith.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't remember.
We're talking about Scorpion King bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Smith is terrible.
Yeah, like Mummy 2 with the Scorpion King. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yep.
But like in '98, we didn't mind that. I didn't think in 1998. I did not think that was bad, honestly.
True.
Because I had memory of this going, oh right, yeah, we're gonna get the weird shape or the chameleon monkey thing, and I remember thinking that it looked okay, and then this time I was like, wow, that's terrible. But they still.
I did like the design of Smith while he was in all his black clothes.
Yeah, he looked way better before he took all that off. He looked like a freaking Dementor.
Yeah,
like a walking Dementor,
or crossed with Dr. Doom from the original.
Oh yeah,
the earlier Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So, no, you're right. They're terrible. It's terrible. It's awful. We do have to give them a little credit though for that they did when they hit the hyperdrive, right? When they did the time freeze and the camera did the pan around bit a little bit, like. We're a year before.
That's a little before its time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was the year before The Matrix. The Matrix made it good, better. But they did all right in this for this. I didn't think that. I thought that scene was fine. I wrote a lot of notes on this movie. I haven't really started looking at them because we've just been talking, which is good. Gary Oldman as Smith is fantastic. He was great. And
again, the best thing in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. And he is channeling like this 1960s like
Bond villain.
Yeah, Bond villain. I mean, like the dialogue that he says to himself is wonderful in that it is he's a Bond villain. And I captured some of it. I captured 10 clips from this movie.
Oh my goodness!
I went bananas. And in fact,
I hope you captured the clip that I'd love to end all our podcasts with.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I actually was originally going to capture 14, but as we were getting close to needing to start recording, so there's several I left out. I left out the bit where little William walks over the hill and says, "Oh shit!" And then the Smith goes, "Boy of your intelligence should not use such language." Oh shit! Yeah, so I didn't capture that one, so I'll just play it for you now. And I also didn't capture the "I loathe children" part. I didn't. I was actually gonna. That was my joke leading up to that was, "This is what Andrew says every day. I loathe children." But I didn't, so we won't do the joke. Anyway. So Dr. Smith, I want to stay on here for just a second. All right. So I've always been kind of confused as to why the global sedition is even a thing. Right? Like the world is united as, time to save the planet. Except for these people who want to leave the planet and build their own thing first. Why? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't we all just try to help each other out and live? Whatever. Maybe that's too naive of me to think. I don't know. But I mean, we're going through, as we record this episode, we're going through Hurricane
Irma.
No, not Irma. Houston. Crap. Henry. Hank? Which one is it?
Harvey.
Harvey, thank you. Gosh.
Harvey.
Where's Harvey Dent? We're going through that, and the country is united right now, right? Like everyone's like, "Yay, Texas! Let's whatever." Right? I kind of feel like that if we actually figured out that the planet was dying, like legit. Oh, yep, we have 100 years left of life on this planet. We need to do something. I think a lot of stuff stops, personally, but that might be super naive and like the Star Trek fan in me thinking that we could, as a people, come together. I don't know. Maybe there would still be anarchists that just want to watch the world burn.
There would be people still saying, no, the climate is not changing.
Right,
or,
yeah. Anyway.
People wouldn't say that.
But in this movie, that's not what these people are. They just want to get there first, so they go on these suicide missions, and then Matt LeBlanc gets to come out in a B-wing and blow them up. Oh, that weird audio is back. What is that?
Little scratchy thing?
Yeah. Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, if you hear it, then that means it's not on me.
No, I hear it.
While you're searching
for
for the sound, Matt LeBlanc's buddy pilot, who is piloting the other B-wing, is also in The Walking Dead, which I love him in The Walking Dead, but in this movie...
That's where I knew him from.
Yeah. In this movie, he tries to change his voice to the point that it's bad. Like, it's just... He sounds like he's trying too hard.
Sounds like it'd be a cyborg or something. It just...
You know what it honestly sounded like?
What's that?
A little bit like L from Star Crash.
Oh, wow.
If it had an accent with it, it would have been L.
I don't think I captured any of his audio. Oh, it stopped. That's weird. Okay. Anyway.
No, I did. I put my phone on the other couch. I don't know if that was doing it.
Oh, I don't know, but it's whatever it was stopped, and I haven't. I mean, I've literally been like wiggling wires and stuff. I don't know. Yeah,
That's what they call it now, huh?
Yeah. What are you doing in there? Just wiggling my wires. You're gonna go blind. Sorry. So, okay, it's back. So it's not your phone. Damn it! Okay. This is driving me crazy. All right. Anyway, so a couple of things that kind of annoyed me, though. Not a couple of things. There was a lot of things that annoyed me, but one of the things was like, so Dr. Smith is what, right? He is a murderous saboteur, like Matt LeBlanc likes to tell us. He's a doctor, right? So he is known as a doctor, medical doctor, licensed to heal the sick and wounded.
Yeah. Not robotics.
Yet he is a whiz at robotics, fine. He can reprogram things with a little touchpad, whatever deal. Hoo-ha. But the most egregious thing, in my opinion, in the movie, Sam, not CGI Monkey, not CGI Smith, Spider Smith, not go through the planet's core. I think I captured that. I can't remember.
That's so bad. I think you heard me when I was watching it.
Yeah, it's bad.
Ugh.
It's, in my opinion, is the fact that Doctor, Man Doctor, he's a doctor. Damn it, man, I'm a doctor, not a space
Are you sure he's a
explorer.
doctor?
Gets scratched by an alien species on his skin and doesn't get an examination? Are you kidding me? Like, he should immediately go to Heather Graham and say, I got scratched on my back. Will you look at it? Yeah. Oh, she's going to go look at it and take his thing off and go, you're infected with this horrible thing. Let us do some antibiotics and blah, 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 and then whatever, right? And but like even if you take
flesh wound,
even if you take the effort to do all that crap and he still gets infected, fine. But you've literally completely in this movie have discredited him as a doctor by having him. He even scratches it and says, "Oh, damn spider bite." No, if I get bit by a spider tonight, I'm probably going to go to emergency care tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially if it looks like it the way it was looking.
Right. If it's growling at me and can, melt metal with its face, I am definitely going to go to emergency care tomorrow, right?
I had a girlfriend like that once.
Oh, yeah. Would growl and can melt metal with her face.
Oh, and here's the kicker, too. These people just went through, especially the father, just went through this whole mess with the crazy Spider Smith, right? Yet they still brought the old Smith who has the scratch with them. So he still, more than likely, can turn into this spider thing on the ship.
Well,
At that point, after he's tried to kill everybody, I think you leave him behind.
Did they know? I mean, I don't know. I guess because he screams in pain. I guess they know that he got scratched. I mean, because I always made the assumption that they didn't know. But if the rest of the crew knew, then they're all negligible and should all be fired. I mean, like the mom in this movie is the only one that had any freaking sense. Should have, like, oh hey, she puts the legs on the scanner thing and they do the thing and then. Oh, they're attracted to heat, and they, can transfer their seed by their feet, and they all should look over at Smith and go, "Hey, didn't you just get scratched in the back? Yeah, okay, let's go take a look at you." While Matt LeBlanc nukes the ship. So,
yeah,
it's bad. I mean, that's bad again, and that goes back to bad. It's bad writing. It's bad direction. It's bad whatever. But it's bad decision making is what it is.
Yeah, it's not understanding the character enough to write it well.
Right.
I mean, maybe he realizes he's getting superpowers or something, and that's why he keeps it to himself.
But again, tell us that.
Yeah.
Maybe
there's a deleted scene somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
But give us a reason why he would hide that, and then, Will wouldn't eventually shoot him when he looked as crazy as he did.
Okay. Will has got to be the dumbest person in this movie. What is Will Smith saying? I am iRobot. You've got to be the dumbest smart person I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like, it took him 30 years to figure out that Smith's plan the whole time was not so that Will could go back, but that he. So there's that. The other part is the fact that Smith is the second dumbest smart person on the planet by saying, "You've made the portal too small." You've watched him build it for 30 years. Don't you think you should have said something when he started drawing the diagram to build the portal? Hey, make it about 4 meters bigger. Okay, why? I don't know. We don't want you to miss and get into the circle of death. We want you to make sure I don't know. Whatever. Dumb. A lot of dumb. A lot of bad. Just so stupid.
When he sabotages the ship and everything goes crazy wrong, then my first question, and I guess it was answered when they or find out they're close to the sun. But my first question is, why don't they just scrap the mission and return to Earth?
Well, they couldn't because they were flying to the sun, and they had to use the hyperdrive to get out of their sun's gravity.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, one of the things that's actually explained in the movie, and then by them doing so, they went across the galaxy and they don't know where. So space, Dr. Smith was an idiot. I think that's what I was saying. Other thing that annoyed me, there's lots of them. I get the whole bit where William Hurt is giving his father's dog tags to his son as a way of saying, I promise I'll come back, right? Crap. Was I? No, okay, I'm good. Sorry. I get that. Sorry, I just looked at my computer and I got freaked out because my channel was muted, but no, I'm good. I get that that's a thing, but he said that his father used to give them to him when he would go on combat missions. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. Those are his dog tags. He needs those. I mean, that's the point of them. So anyway, that was dumb. Whatever, it's fine. What was the other thing? Yeah.
Cattle prods can take down a robot. You know that?
Or try to. Okay, did the robot really... So when William Hurt shoots the robot in the shoulder, did the robot really have to look at him and go, that was a mistake? Really? That was so dumb. I mean, I like the robot, but that part was dumb. He wouldn't say that. Why would you program that? I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe it's learning.
Well, apparently he did have...
AI is figuring things out.
Now, I did like the holographic interface. I thought that was actually kind of cool. When the kid takes control over it, I thought that was actually kind of cool. Just
yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about the phone call in the desert that I literally rolled my eyes out loud.
No, not that part. But you mean there's
or the principal coming into the
living room?
You know who that was, right?
And I love how the principal says, the dad is literally trying to save the planet. And she says, is there no way that the father could be there at the the science fair?
Right.
For real? Come on.
Well,
it's not like she doesn't know he's trying to save the planet.
Right. Well, that's June Lockhart, who played the mom in the original Lost in Space show.
Oh.
So they originally had cameos for all of the original cast, but most of them said no. But she was like, I got nothing to do. Sure, make my head into a gorilla. I don't care. She's still alive, by the way. Born in 1925. Still alive. She's still working. She did something called The Remake in 2016. Do what? Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Apparently Larry King is in that movie, which is funny. But she's still doing work. And, good for her. I mean, she was on an episode of Cold Case, an episode of Grey's Anatomy, an episode of Las Vegas, Drew Carey Show, Beverly Hills 90210 for 2 seasons. Anyway, so good for her. I'm happy for her that she's still working.
Yeah.
Back to this. What I love his. Oh, I love his overacting, but that was talking about Gary Oldman when he realizes that he's on the spaceship and he's doing this. He's turning and he's he was overacting like crazy, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It's also weird seeing the actor who plays Old Will not using his normal British accent because he is.
I know. I've noticed that. I honestly didn't even think it was him.
It's not.
Because I thought, no, that voice is way too American to really be him. But that's who he was.
No, it's not. It's not his voice.
Oh, it's not his voice.
No, it's not his voice at all. They overdubbed all of it. All of it. That wasn't him. I mean, that's the guy who plays Moriarty in the movie, and He's also in that show, The Expanse, I was talking about. He plays like a mob boss kind of guy. He's a great British villain, and when he started talking, I'm like, that doesn't sound like him at all. Man, he's got a great voice coach. And then I saw in the trivia that it wasn't his voice. I was like, okay, that makes way.
Why in the world would they do that?
I don't know.
Would it be cheaper just to have a different actor?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, you'd think.
He attended Duke.
He went to Duke, really?
Yeah. Studied drama and literature in the early 1980s at Duke University.
Oh, good for him. He's from, the London, UK. Yeah, The Expanse is what he's on right now. He's good at that. I did Duke. Well, good for him. I did like him a lot in Corny.
Hey, Corny.
Just hanging out doing a podcast, and all of a sudden Corny just shows up.
Yeah.
You there, bud?
Okay.
All right, well, we'll keep going, and hopefully Corny can figure it out.
Let's do some clippies.
Ready? Well, and I don't want to do clips yet because I need Corny to tell us things and what he wanted, and things he wanted to say, and give him an opportunity to talk before I run the clips. Because again, I captured 10. 10.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, buddy. Oh, turn your gain up about 45%. This is how the show is made, ladies and gentlemen. This is the how the sausage is made.
This is the first 3 hours that we take before we hit
how
record.
the sauce is made.
This is how the sauce is made. Give me another 15%, Corny.
Damn.
Hey, you were saying earlier you were
engines to 65%.
I need that. I need your core to be at least. All right, Corny, you're at a 5. I need you at a 9.
Still?
There you go. Oh, a little better.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? We missed you for the first.
I am tired as shit.
I hear you. Yeah. So, Corny, first of all,
without us ruining from our.
Well, hang in there. So,
opinions.
I am Sean Orda, and joining me tonight is Corny. The spiders eat their wounded. Logan. This is the only food reference in the whole movie.
I was like, I figured that was a spider thing, but I am a big fan of Spider-Man, so I was actually very offended. Spiders.
It's a paper cut, and all of a sudden his siblings start eating them.
Right.
Peter Parker never ate his wounded.
Right. Yeah. Could you imagine if like Venom showed up? Oh, you got a broken leg. Time to eat you. Nom nom nom.
That's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, actually, he probably would do that. In fact. So, Corny, give us your first impressions. We've kind of gone through the gambit here of this movie kind of sucks. At least the three of us think that way. Bad CGI monkey and bad acting and bad. Well, maybe the acting wasn't that bad, but bad writing. And Dr. Smith is a terrible doctor.
So I will go ahead and point out that the only thing that I liked about this movie was Heather Graham and Joey. That's about it.
Oh, wow. You like Joey. We all didn't.
Yeah.
I won't even. I will. No, you're absolutely right. This CGI was real bad. I really wanted to like give them the benefit of the doubt, but when push comes to shove, it's a Tropicana movie, and that's the best you can do. And if it weren't for tropes, this movie would be worse than what it was.
Well, and I was kind of defending the movie a little bit because of the year, right? 98 movie came out. I thought the space stuff was okay. Not great, not bad. PlayStation 2 level okay for 98.
Here's the deal. You had the Jetsons in the very, very first 15 seconds of the movie. You had a space vehicle fly by and actually gave it the Jetsons.
Yeah. As
soon as I heard that, I was like, this movie is shit. And I will say this. I did enjoy Matt LeBlanc's armor thing. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, his little Iron Man bit was kind of neat.
I needed more of that. That would have been great. And then it turned into a weird movie. So it was like, we have an idea. It's good. Let's not continue with this idea and then decide to do something else.
And Corny, I'm glad you said that, because you basically touched on a bit that a little rant, whatever, that I went on, is that we've figured this thing out in the last 10 years, right? We figured out how to take a comedian actor and then put him into these action roles and make it work, right? Chris Pratt has made a career of these action roles since doing Parks and Rec. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man was really good. and there are a handful of other people, like Bradley Cooper, right? Does the Hangovers and then, can do the A-Team. So they tried this back in with LeBlanc, but the problem is they didn't let him be Matt LeBlanc. They made him be a soldier, and they gave him no opportunity. Really, and you said the armor reminded me. I bet you the only bit in the entire movie that was ad-libbed is when he does his can of Raid gag. And,
at that point in time in the future, Raid shouldn't be a thing.
Well, it's only 41 years into the future.
No.
Remember, it's only 2058.
Hold on. Half of Earth is floating around in domes and flying cars.
Yeah.
Raid should not be a thing.
Well, they're going to be here long after we're all gone, I believe.
That's very true.
Wally has
in the
proven
places that we are, they should never see them.
Yeah, you mean places like in the middle of a city where there's a launching platform for a spaceship? Yeah, that.
Indeed.
Why would you do that? What if there's a failure? What if it crashes down? We killed 70,000 people, but oh well. So dumb. I hate that stuff.
That spaceship launch bothered me the shit out of me.
Me too.
Yeah.
That they basically halved the size of the spaceship once the thing fell apart, and then all this debris, this random parts are just floating in space.
Well, that's how we do things now.
Well, but if you look at what we do now, you lose a couple of tanks. This is you lose something the size of a city.
Yeah, and you would think at this point in time, you've got a hyperdrive engine. Why not make a smaller version to get you into space and then use the big one to get you further into space?
Oh, you mean like what they did in Star Wars Episode 2 with the Jedi?
Much.
I actually don't really care about any of those things, honestly, personally. What I cared about is we're on a planet that is devoid of resources, yet we spent billions of sheet metal and steel to build a launching platform 150 feet into the air. Why couldn't it be on the ground? Did they really need that extra 150 feet, 200 feet off the ground? That to me was, no wonder you guys are running out of resources. You're building shit like this. That was my problem with it. I didn't care about the space debris and all the other crap. I don't care about that. But and we did make reference to the fact that Matt LeBlanc is flying a B-wing. And Corny, I'm glad you mentioned the Jetson thing because I didn't pick up on it. But now that you said that, I remember thinking a dozen times in the movie that they're using sound effects from other sci-fi genres. I'm pretty sure.
Was that a thing though from the TV show?
Well, no, because Lost in Space was before Star Trek, and way before Star Wars. It was cutting edge at the time. But I kind of felt like this movie was trying. I know the movie is being reverential. Is that the word reverential? You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Actually, no.
Being reverent of something, yeah.
Reverent.
Yeah. Meaning that there are two moments in the movie where I was like, they're playing tribute to Star Trek, or they're playing tribute to Star Wars. And I captured both of them. And I'll play them in a minute. But I wonder if they did more of that, also some of that stuff with other little things like the sound effects and things like that, because there was moments where I was like, oh, that noise is straight from Star Trek, and that noise is a Star Wars thing, So anyway,
we did get an AOL moment.
The Jetsons things. What?
Yeah, there was a AOL theme sound.
No.
Yes, there was.
Oh my gosh! I didn't get that. I didn't even hear.
Yeah,
it
was. When was it? It was like right after the little mousy girl, did her futuristic selfie diary on her watch.
her vlog, yeah.
It was YouTube.
Yeah, and you heard it was right there. You have to go back and listen.
Oh, I'm not going to. Okay. Anything else you got, Corny, before I go into clips?
What?
I said anything you have before we get into clips?
Me?
Yeah.
Not to this movie, but making 20 laptops before you do a podcast is not the way to go.
Okay, well, I hear you, pal. I'm glad you're able to help us out. I did make reference to earlier. I hate to recap, but that Dr. Smith is a bad doctor because he gets scratched by a spider.
I want him to die. I want him to die immediately.
Well, like if you're that bad of a doctor, you deserve your fate, right? Because you should have immediately been like, "Hey, I got hit by a space thing. Let's go look at it."
I wish someone had killed him sooner.
Yeah.
Matt LeBlanc should have been like, "Toy doesn't share food," and then shot him in the face.
Yeah. Well, he can't do that because he's part of the show, and they were supposed to make 2 more of these movies.
Really?
Yeah. So one other part that you missed was that you know how when they use the hyperdrive and they're hanging out, and then the space bubble portal whatever opens up, and they go through, and then they find the Proteus and all that crap, right? And then they crash land on the planet, and then there's another time bubble. Well, they never left the first one. And so the second movie was going to be they eventually get to Alpha Prime, and they find out that they're basically 30 years too late, or 30 years late, getting there.
Oh.
And
so they pulled a Ash.
I slept too long. Yeah, and like the sedition group has actually gotten to the planet first, and so like they have to deal with some stuff like that. And then I don't remember what the third one was going to be, but they had intentions of making 3 of these movies. This movie only cost $80 million, but it only made 70.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, I don't know what it did worldwide. I can look in a second, but anyway, so there's that. That's basically a recap. I'm ready for some clips, and if there's anything that tickles your fancy, you want to say, jump in. But here is the first moment where I was like, this is a wink. This is a wink and a nod to Star Wars, right?
Grissom, this is Eagle One. Those bugs will never reach him in time. I'm going in. Major West, you are not authorized to jeopardize. Never liked that station anyway.
Right? Like when Han shoots the controller and boring conversation anyway. Chewie, we're gonna have company or whatever it says, right? No, yeah. It reminded me of Star Wars immediately. Guys, I have to capture if you're going to say the movie. Well, they didn't say the movie exactly. He didn't say we could get lost in space, but anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Hyperspace exists
We're in a
beneath
space
normal
lost.
space.
Yeah.
If you try to enter hyperspace without a gate, your exit vector is random. There's no telling where you'd come out. 98% of the galaxy is still uncharted. There's a lot of space out there to get lost.
Professor Robin. Nah. Okay.
If you look back in the back of that shot there, one dude touches his nose.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you said the name of the movie. Touch his nose. Yeah. Or somebody else took a shot or something.
Yeah.
Here's 18 seconds of Lacey Chabert and her voice.
Do I spend my last night on Earth watching Mom and Dad pretend not to be fighting again? Or blow 10 years worth of allowance at the mall? You do the math.
Mom's gonna go thermal.
What's she gonna do? Ground me?
I'm still not 100% sure that's her actual voice.
I hate it also when they try to throw in futuristic language. Mom's going to go thermal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the kids in 2058 are going to say.
Mom went nuclear.
No. Well.
No? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I get it. What are the words I'm looking for? Andrew, to your point, yes and no. I like it, but it goes back to my problem with the movie isn't that far into the future, right? because he still says stuff like cool, right? Because I think we probably will be saying that in only 40 years. When you get into shows like Firefly that were so far into the future, or in like again, I'm going to mention again, The Expanse, they use different wording. I mean, instead of saying that's great, they say shiny in Firefly. But again, that's so far into the future, it makes sense that the language has changed. But you're right. Enough. But yeah, if you entered, you're right. I mean, would he say thermal? I don't know. I mean, that seems like a weird thing to say. You're right. I think you're right. And I don't know if they did that anymore in the movie. I don't remember. They might have. I don't know. But whatever. Here's 8 seconds of Gary Oldman doing a dad joke.
And I'm afraid that my price has just become astronomical.
So bad. Oh, it's so bad.
That's very much Bond villain.
It is Bond villain. And Corny, we mentioned that we basically think that Gary Oldman is a Bond villain, and I have proof.
Evil knows evil.
Well, here's 36 seconds, and it's kind of quiet, so I'm gonna have to boost it up a little bit. Here's 36 seconds of Smith basically monologuing to himself his. I titled it "Sinister Talk." Basically, is what I did on this. Okay, here we go.
Forgive me if I forgo to kiss my sleeping dear mother, but the time has come to awake.
Robot is online, reviewing primary directives. 1. Preserve the Robinson family. 2. Maintain the ship system.
Spare me the chatter, my stately centurion. Sadly, I fear I have far more dire deeds in store for you. That's more
basically do the opposite.
Farewell, my platinum-plated pal. Give my regards to Oblivion.
Like, I love all of it. I just wish it was louder.
That scene bothered me, and I wrote it down in my notes because they let the robot get out 2 lines before he cut him off, and then when he has new directives, it's just those same 2 lines reversed. Like there's no, I don't know. That bothered me.
Okay. Yeah, I liked his dialogue again. You know, it makes reference to Sleeping Beauty and whatever. I thought that was kind of cool. Not a space? What 5 seconds of not a space. I don't know what this is. Okay, here we go.
You're coming with us.
Oh, yeah. So here's the Star Trek wink and a nod.
Out of the question, I am a doctor, not a space explorer.
There you go. So, little Star Trek wink there. Here we go. Here's your can of Raid.
$1 million worth of weaponry. And I've traded all back for a lousy can of Raid.
And there's no way you can be stealthy with that gun. Holy shit, that thing was noisy. I mean, you better have that thing built if you're going to go into a hostile territory.
Go with me for a minute. Somebody breaks into your house at night. You reach for your pistol, and then you say, "Safety off," and then
right,
and then you can point at them.
Yeah,
they're not going to know you're coming.
Beep beep boop boop bop boop bop. Oh, somebody's here. I don't know. I guess what would be more terrifying, that sound or the sound of me chambering around in my bolt action rifle? I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I'm only familiar with one of those.
Yeah, I've told that story on the show before. Corny came into the house one day. I was upstairs. I didn't know he was coming over. He just walked into the house. Like,
no, you knew I was coming over.
Well, I knew you were coming over, but like you didn't say, "Hey, I'm on my way." You just came over, and the front door was unlocked, so I hear the door shut and footsteps downstairs. So I grab my bolt action 22 rifle and I chamber around. I hear Corny go, "Hey, it's me!" So anyway, I wasn't gonna just.
Well, you know, in America, you just have to be safe as a black man.
Yeah, that's fair.
You never know.
Yeah. I thought this was real bad. All of this is bad.
Come home to me, Professor.
Hello to you, wife.
I love you.
That I tell that to Kimberly. She tells me that every night.
Yeah, come back to me, Professor.
Yeah.
Did anybody notice how they had a really bad marriage and then they got on a spaceship and they were fine?
Hey, that just goes to show that all you got to do is show your wife a little bit of space D and there.
Well, he's a really bad father, and then he falls through a portal and everyone forgives him. He tells his son, I love you, and then we're good. Like, you're still a bad father to Lacey Chabert, but I'm not going to tell her that I love her because she didn't build a time machine and almost kill everybody on planet Earth. Which, by the way, when he's like, I'm going home, and it showed a picture of Earth, I'm like, if he jumps through now, is he going to be jumped into space? I don't know. No, it's just weird. And I also really liked that his machine portal had these cinematic views of the city, like where the camera was still moving, and I always hate that stuff. That stuff drives me crazy in movies. Here's another dad joke, but said by the kid.
Don't worry, robot. I'm gonna build you a new body. Mom always said I should try to make new friends.
Oh, ha, ha.
Oh, wait. Hey, Sam, I'm actually a little scared here. Hang in there. I can't find the clip you wanted me to play.
It's the one about the man trying to kill his dog.
Oh, I missed it. Here it is. No, here it is. Here it is. I'll save it for last. This was really bad audio editing. You guys know that whenever I hear these, I have to pull them. This I was watching it with my headphones on, and this happened, and I was like, oh, come on, guys. Here we go. Bad audio.
Around every corner, monsters. Wait, I know. I am one. We monsters have no fear in devouring little boys. To survive, you must be fully prepared to kill.
Could you tell the difference when he said eat little boys or whatever? It's totally different. Did it come across to you guys? I mean, I don't know, but...
Well, I know my audio for Netflix was really weird on my TV for this movie in particular.
Yeah, I was watching it on I had my headphones, my nice Shure headphones, and it came through painfully loud for me. So, whatever. And last but not least...
And the monkey flips the switch.
There we go. And the monkey flips the switch. So I will definitely be keeping that.
And the monkey flips the switch.
There we go. All right, here we go. Tropes, tropey tropes. Tropicanas. I wrote absent dad, which again they beat every character in this movie is a trope, and they beat us in the face with it. Like Andrew said earlier, it was just annoying. Bad dad, bad husband, military guy is a hothead who somehow still gets the girl at the end of the movie, though literally did nothing to earn it other than not killing them. And I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. Robot must say robot. Again, I know we have to pay tribute to the 1966-65 TV show, but we're not programming robots in that time to say robot. We're not.
How do you know?
We're not. And the power of friendship is more powerful than programming. There you go. There's a trope for you. So,
that's not true.
Yeah. If you tell your Dell that you're friends and that friendship is forever, it's not going to come to life and help you out. Just saying.
Whatever.
Except for Corny's. Corny's his will.
Actually, my main machines are not Dell's.
Oh, well, whatever. That's the only thing I can think of. Burp derp. All right, here we go. This thing.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I'm going to click through this real quick because we're running late for us. Despite opening in theaters on April 3rd, Lost in Space was the first new film of 1998 to open number one at the box office. This was due to the incredible 15-week reign of Titanic, which came out December of the previous year, of 97. Since it finally knocked Titanic off the number one spot in the box office charts for a short time after its release, the movie was given the nickname The Iceberg. I already mentioned that. The first robot in the movie weighed 2 tons and required 8 people to control. In the original script, the movie adaptation, Silicon Graphics wasn't the original co-sponsor. It was going to be Coca-Cola. And I would have hated that even more. And Future Will's dialogue is entirely dubbed as Jared Harris did not have the vocal scale to complete the role, which is still weird. Why cast the guy? All right. Do we want to do the recasting game with this movie? Because they're making a new TV show next year.
No.
Okay. Anyone? I didn't take the time to think about it.
Other than Joe Pesci.
I mean, you could do Chris Pratt as the pilot. You might as well, right? Make Chris Pratt the pilot. Hell, make Jennifer Lawrence the hot doctored girl, because they've already had chemistry together. You know, I mean, whatever. All right, there we go. I've already done half of it for you. Good luck, Hollywood.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Top 3. Corny, did you get my message?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. We're doing Gary Oldman movies. Top 3 Gary Oldman movies. Andrew.
Okay. Number 3. Look at my list. The Book of Eli.
Oh, I love him in that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. A lot of people, I don't think it really got the credit it was due. I think it's a great movie.
Oh, I think it's great.
If you haven't seen it, you should go see it.
I own it on DVD.
Number 2, Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter series.
Sure.
As Sirius Black. And then number 1 has to be, of course, Air Force One.
Get off my plane. Yeah, he's great in that. Corny.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
All right, so my number 3, just like Andrew, is Book of Eli.
Cool.
My number 2 is the Batman Begins.
All right.
Swear to me. And my number 1, and this actually is probably one of the first number 1s I've had where I've been like, yeah, this is definitely what I think is number 1 for me, is Corbin Dunn's Multipass.
Oh, The Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, yeah.
Zorg. Oh, man. I'm glad you said that.
You know, actually, it's funny. When I was looking, I was like, oh, I don't know if I know 3, Gary Oldman movies. I didn't realize that Gary Oldman was the protagonist. I was very, very, very confused.
In Fifth Element, he's the antagonist.
Antagonist, yes, because
and it's funny. He normally is the bad guy, right? He does Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He does a whole bunch of bad guy roles, and then out of nowhere, he does Prisoner Azkaban, which they cast him. You're like, okay, he's a bad guy, and then in the movie, you're like, oh, he's not. And then he does the Batman movies where he's not, and then he goes back to it in Book of Eli and some other movies, though he wasn't in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. But anyway, I like bad guy Gary Oldman personally. Sam.
Seems like he has more fun playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm not as an original here. I've got Air Force One as my number 3. I've got The Dark Knight as number 2, and pretty much any Sirius Black stuff in Harry Potter.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of reviewing the list here. Batman Begins is my number 3. Air Force One is my number 2, and The Fifth Element is my number 1. Love him in The Fifth Element, yep. But I love the movie, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Come on.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
This is where you give me your list, your score of 10. Out of 10, ranging from 0 to 10, we have agreed that negative numbers are not allowed. Corny for the children of corn. Children of the corn. The children of corn is your son Parker.
This is.
Andrew.
Well, this was more likable than last week's movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Which I gave a
0.55.
Yes, a 0.55. That's right. However, it's not something that I would want to watch multiple times again. However, if it's in the future, maybe 10 years down the road, or maybe in 2058.
Whip the disc out that they used in the movie as a medium, whatever.
I think that I would give this probably a solid 4.76.
Okay. Corny.
Oh boy. All right. So this movie's full of tropes. And I'll give it a solid 5. Joey with his Iron Man armor and a hot Heather Graham. It's very funny to watch different actors that you assume are the same age. Like Lexi Sherbet, I actually thought she was the same age as Joey and Heather, and she is not.
Well, she's our age.
Yeah, I know, it's super weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, I give it a solid 5. I mean, it's a. I just went Jay Leno there. I'm sorry. It's a solid movie, but at the end of the day, you watch it because you're bored or you're on house arrest or you've just murdered a guy. Either way, you're just there.
Yeah, there's actually a lot more movies I'd rather watch. I don't think this is even like, it's on TBS. I'm not stopping. I'll be honest with you. Unless it's the final scene where they're flying through the planet. I'm not watching this.
We're going to go through the sun. Whoa.
Wow. Sam.
I'm going to give it probably, I'm right there with Corny, around a 5.1 mediocre. Now, I would have given this a lot higher score back in the late 90s.
Yeah, I would have too. I would have probably given it an 8 back in 99.
Watching again? Yeah, watching now, no, I just can't do it.
Yeah, time has not done this movie well. Bad performances, I think. I wish they would have let Joey be Joey. I'm gonna kind of sneak it in the middle, so I'm gonna give it a 4.9. That sounds weird. To round this movie out to a 4.94. So there you go. That's fine. That's our show. Thank you guys so much, and for listening. Next week we're doing the Water Boy. You're wrong, Colonel Sanders. We're doing the Water Boy. It's on the
with football season starting up. This perfect timing.
Yeah, it is good timing with the foosball and all that stuff too. So.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I actually just watched it the other day.
Oh, nice. Well, you
didn't realize it was on the
at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta stop doing this. This is not working out for me.
We could get into it more later, but I'm actually kind of interested to know. Do you think that Fairuza Balk, the girl that plays Vicky Valancourt, do you guys find her attractive? Because I never have.
Vicky Valancourt.
She showed me your boobies, and I like them too.
It's just flavor of the Kool-Aid. Sometimes
maybe
people like grape, sometimes people like cherry, and I'm a grape guy. Like it dark.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. We'll talk about that next week, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one, and she just freaked me out ever since I saw her in The Craft. Maybe that's my problem.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's it. That's what we're doing next week. We're doing that, and the week after that is American Ultra. So that's coming up next 2 weeks. So go watch them and participate in the show because we like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's another way to participate too, Sean.
You can send us an email, but also. Go to our website, Cheapseat Reviews. I guess I can hit the outro here. We're at that point. Go to our website, cheapseatreviews.com, and you can vote for our Halloween movies. What we should do, we did get a vote for something on the Facebook page. And I've already forgotten what it was. Alan sent us a thing saying something, and I'm going there, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, go to our website and vote for... No, I wasn't Birdemic. That was Sam. You have no idea what you're doing to yourself. I mean, this is it. Oh yeah, he wanted us to do it, which I think we mentioned, and I mentioned we could do that, but it's a freaking 3.5 hour long movie.
I know it's a marathon.
I mean, that's a commitment. So But of course, So check that out. Please go to our website and check that out. You can leave us a review in all the normal places you leave reviews. GoFundMe.com/Cheapseat Reviews if you want to donate a couple bucks to the show to help us out. But if you can't this week because you help it out with the hurricane Houston, it's great. Do that instead. Facebook.com
or getting ready for the next hurricane.
Or getting ready for whatever. And the show basically will depend on what the hurricane does because we have no idea. So stay tuned. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at CheapSeatCast and CheapSeatReviews@gmail.com is our email address. That's going to do it. So on behalf of Andrew, Sam, Corny, thank you for joining us late, but I'd rather have you better late than never, as they say. This is Sean saying thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.